Most people believe what happened in Venezuela was the event itself. They're wrong. Venezuela wasn't the event. It was the message. And the rest of the world was the audience. Because this was never just about Nicolás Maduro. It was about demonstrating how power is enforced in the modern world. Not through invasion, not through occupation, but through control. To understand why Venezuela mattered, you have to stop thinking emotionally and start thinking systemically. Venezuela sits at a rare intersection of global pressure points. It holds the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. It exports energy outside direct U.S. influence. It has deep financial and energy ties with China, and it experimented with bypassing the U.S.-led financial system. That combination made it strategically dangerous. Not because it was strong, but because it was symbolic. Venezuela showed what happens when a country tries to survive outside the dominant system for too long. For years, Venezuela sold oil to China at discounted rates, used alternative settlement mechanisms, relied on shadow shipping and non-traditional insurance, and quietly tested how far it could operate without relying on the U.S. dollar. It wasn't rebellion, it was experimentation. And experimentation is what systems fear most. Because once one country proves it's possible, others follow. That's where the real red line was crossed. The United States doesn't object to trade with China. What it objects to is trade that weakens its leverage. The rule is simple. You can trade with China, or you can trade against U.S. strategic interests, but you cannot do both indefinitely. Venezuela tested that boundary, and the response was designed to be seen. This wasn't war. This was enforcement. Modern power doesn't rely on bombs first. It relies on systems, sanctions, blockades, asset freezes, dollar exclusion, market isolation. These tools don't destroy cities. They suffocate economies. Because modern nations don't collapse from invasion. They collapse when cash flow stops, when shipping insurance disappears, when ports go quiet, when banks freeze transactions, when investors pull out, when currencies lose trust. Missiles destroy infrastructure. Financial pressure destroys confidence. And once confidence is gone, collapse follows naturally. That's why Venezuela terrified other countries. Because Venezuela wasn't unique. Many nations are quietly doing the same things. Selling commodities to China. Settling trade outside the dollar. Using discounts and workarounds to avoid sanctions. Letting Chinese capital finance energy and infrastructure. They believed they were invisible. Venezuela proved they're not. This is how empires maintain control. They don't announce rules. They demonstrate consequences. Iraq was a demonstration. Libya was a demonstration. Now Venezuela. Different decades. Same lesson. Oil isn't the prize. Control is. Control over shipping lanes. Control over insurance markets. Control over settlement currencies. Control over who gets paid and who gets cut off. Once those levers are controlled, occupation becomes unnecessary. Countries adjust themselves. They realign. They comply. They fall back into the system quietly. That's why this matters far beyond Venezuela. Because when power stops negotiating privately and starts signaling publicly, it means the system is under stress. And markets always feel stress before people do. At first, markets deny it. Then they hesitate. Then volatility appears. Energy markets reprice first. Emerging markets follow. Currencies weaken. Liquidity dries up. And retail investors wake up one day asking what went wrong. Nothing went wrong. It already happened. You just didn't see it in real time. This isn't about left or right. This isn't about good or evil. This is about systems protecting themselves. When a system feels threatened, it doesn't argue. It enforces. Venezuela wasn't the story. It was the announcement. And whether the world admits it or not, the message was heard, loud and clear.